what a lot of the Chinese manufacturers end up doing is
AI art generated idea.
there's a lot of AI stuff lately.
Hey, that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. Maybe it's AI writing these things.
That industry probably has the largest failure rate of any industry out there
Yeah.
because it's...
All right, so here we are, back for another fun-filled week of roast my ideas or something like that. Did we ever finalize a name, by the way, for this thing?
No, we had some ideas.
You guys had some ideas.
Yeah,
we
some ideas.
never finished it.
By the time someone hears this, it'll have a name.
But let's go through some of the ideas we had, though, because we'll pick one. We'll pick one right now.
I almost feel like we should put this up for like a vote somewhere.
But no one's seeing anything.
Maybe.
We haven't released any videos yet.
Yeah, but we can post it on Reddit.
Oh, gotcha.
Roast my podcast name.
Pick my podcast name.
So let's see. We had, and we can't use the name Reddit. So.
Right.
Should I start it? Was one of it.
Mm-hmm.
Which you then responded to, yeah, go ahead. And I'm like, no, that's the name.
So, I thought that was funny.
I know. So from Reddit to revenue, which we can't use. No. So should I start it to revenue, or from should I start it to revenue? From concept to cash flow.
Okay.
And then I said launch or lose.
I like
kind of like
launch or lose.
I think it needs a little more though.
Sounds like a boat though.
It does. I kind of like the maybe from should I launch it?
Again, it sounds like a boat. Maybe.
Yeah,
it's in there somewhere. It's somewhere in there.
It's tricky.
Hold on, I'll go on my phone.
I like from concept to cash flow, right? Because we do talk about anything from
absolutely.
Here's an idea to here's how you can actually produce revenue.
Yeah, of course.
But names are always a pain in the butt when you trying to come up with a new name for something.
All right, so what do we do? We talk about people that have ideas for their business, and they want to know, is it viable, right?
Right.
So do we want to talk about viability in the name? Because that's what we're really doing. We're trying to tell people whether their businesses are viable.
Right. So from a search engine perspective, I don't want anything to do with viability because that puts you in a whole other realm of search terms.
All right. So people listening to this now. So this is how you do. No, in all seriousness, this is how you do marketing. This is how you come up with brand names. This is how you come up with trademarks, things like that. You will have conversations like this for hours upon hours upon hours, and then you'll come up with a name, and you'll love it for about 10 minutes, and then you'll hate it.
Yep. And then tomorrow we'll be texting again, going, I'm not sure about this name.
Totally. All right, we'll give it another couple minutes here. Let's see.
I kind of like the.
So what do we do? We're not really. I mean, I guess we kind of tell people how to start up their business, but it's really about their idea.
Correct.
Right. It's about their idea.
Yes.
And then how to take their idea, and then sometimes we tell them, hey, here's how you build the.
How about we something like start it or scrap it?
Start it or scrap it. Okay, that's interesting.
Right. Well, there's not a lot of ideas that we say you should scrap this idea.
Yeah.
Right? But it does happen. It happened, 3 times so far?
Oh, yeah. There were a couple we just absolutely didn't like.
Yeah.
There we go. I was like, no. Just no.
Right.
Start it or scrap it. Okay. I like that. All right. Let's go with that for now.
We'll play with that.
We'll play with that. No, that's good. I'm trying to think of logo ideas, but we'll come back to that later on.
No, it's a podcast. We don't need a logo.
Yeah, you always need a logo.
You don't need a logo.
You need a logo. What's going to go in the hat?
The name?
No. No. Got to have a logo. Logo means everything. All right, no, seriously. Start it or scrap it. That's not bad. All right, we'll play with that. Let's think about that a little bit. Yeah, it's not bad. And I will be here next week, but I come back on Tuesday, so I'll be here next week.
Oh, that's right. You're traveling.
Yeah, I'm traveling away to Patty.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go have a croissant.
Actually, yeah. Well,
I know.
Oh man, it's so good. You said you've never been there, right?
I've never been.
Yeah. It's a nice place. It really is. We've been there a few times. Like I told you, we got engaged out there many moons ago, on top of Notre Dame Tower, which was awesome.
That's pretty
Unfortunately, it's still closed. It won't be opening until December.
Oh, that's the one
it's
that
a couple
burned.
months away. Yeah,
right?
That's the one that burnt. Yes, like 5 years ago.
Yeah, I know,
It was
but
crazy.
like and they were saying it was going to take what, like 40 years to repair it or something
No,
like that?
like 4 or 5 years, and that's kind of where we are now. It's about the 5th year now,
Okay.
I think. So anyway, yeah. So we leave tomorrow night. That'll be great. Actually, well, what we're doing is we're going to Luxembourg first, right? So we're flying into Paris.
Why don't you just stay in Luxembourg?
Well, so
It's
this.
much nicer.
Well, hold on. Hold on a second. First off, Paris is my wife's favorite place.
Well,
in
I
the
haven't
world,
been to
okay?
Paris, so I can't say.
Yeah,
it's better,
so she
but-
loves Paris. Even though we're only going for a couple of days in Paris, she loves it. But Luxembourg, from what I understand, is very small. Not just on a map, but like actually, it's very
Yeah.
small.
Yeah.
And you can kind of do the whole city in a day and a half. Like everything.
It depends. I mean, just a couple of the museums there, you can do more than you could spend a day in a single museum. and
they have
not-
museums like that, like the Louvre or
Oh, yeah.
something? Okay.
Their art museum.
Yeah, like the Louvre. Where
Yeah.
you could spend a day in the Louvre and not see half of it.
Yeah,
You really could.
yeah. But yeah, it's a really cool place to. I would do at least a couple of days there.
Well, yeah, we're doing 2 days.
2 days. Oh,
yeah, we're doing 2 days
Yeah.
in Luxembourg and then like almost 2 days in Paris.
Okay.
Which sounds like I'm only going 2 days to Paris,
Well,
but we've been there so many times. You know, it's like we've seen all the touristy things. So we're really just kind of going to relax, walk around the city a little bit.
It's more- it's
let's
more
go
for-
let's go to New York then. It's the same thing.
It's more to reminisce. Oh, you told her that?
I
Let's
told
go
her
to New
that.
York.
She was not happy.
Yeah, that's funny.
So it's New York, but they speak French.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Same
Right.
thing.
Yes.
All right. Anyway, so
It's Frenchish.
let's get up to startup ideas. Here we go.
Moderators want it.
Moderators want to apply within. All right, let's see.
So just a quick reminder, if you're listening, hit that subscribe button. It really helps us a lot.
And don't forget the like button. That helps too.
The like button is really good.
The like
too.
button's a good thing.
So okay, so enough with the plugs. Let's
Let's get back to it.
doing an AI law
okay.
startup.
Oh, I got this one. I like
I
this.
know this.
This is all me, probably.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
All right. This is from Revolutionary Shoe 214. Doing an AI law startup. Hi, everyone. So my idea is to be able to democratize law for the average citizen. This means one app to solve all legal challenges one may face. No.
Come on.
Already telling you no. One app to
finish.
solve all legal challenges.
Yeah.
I want to start with Spain and slowly move into other European countries. I can't speak to the EU. I'm just having trouble building a custom app with good UI. So far, I have trained models. My GP. Oh, okay. So using my chat GPT and such, and also use some Hugging Face repositories. What's Hugging Face? Do you know that? Not familiar with that one.
It's
It's okay. But I'm not an AI engineer nor an expert in coding. Then what are you doing building an app? Anyone have any good ideas to get my MVP up and ready before end of year without spending thousands of dollars hiring someone? Well, if you're not an engineer and you're not a coder, then without hiring someone, I don't know what you're going to do.
so this is the new trend.
The no code trend?
So it's basically the interface apps, right? He's taking and glorifying a MyGPT and just dropping it inside of a custom app. So it's not really that he's adding any functionality per se. He's basically just reskinning a custom GPT, which I don't know. I said a while ago that when I first saw ChatGPT and learned prompt engineering and was figuring how you can get it to do certain things by pre-building prompts into it.
Yeah, sure, right.
We had this conversation.
Where I was like, let's have it again.
Yeah, let's one more time. But like when I said, well, you can use this for anything. You can use it for fitness. It can be your fitness buddy, right? It could be a meal planning buddy. And you can customize it to be really good at those specific things. In fact, I even went and registered my Meal Plan Buddy and
Right.
my Fitness Buddy and a few other ones, because I was like, oh, I could totally custom skin a GPT
Yeah.
to be really good with that type of information, right? And we talked about it, like there would be an intake. You have to put in, how old you are, family members,
Right.
blah, 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 blah. And then you tie that into like a recipe website, right? So it meal plans for you, does all these things, gives you the recipe, whole 9 yards. It's just a fancy reskinning of a custom GPT.
Sure.
That's what he's talking about doing.
Okay, fine.
So I
get it.
I wouldn't call it an AI law startup, though.
No, it can't be.
No.
It can't be. And so there's several reasons why. Number one, let's talk. Okay, I can only talk to the U.S. law, but I'm sure European law is similar because they share a lot of the same traits. You, Gummy over there, cannot offer legal advice to anybody for a fee, whether it's through an app or in person, because you're not an attorney. You have to have a license to do that. And I would imagine it's very similar over in Europe. I know in the UK you have to be a solicitor or a barrister in order to do that. Here in the US you have to be a licensed attorney to do it. Therefore I would imagine in Europe it's similar. But let's assume it's not. Let's assume anybody can give legal advice for money. Okay?
Yes.
I don't know why you feel
Well,
like
I can
that,
give you legal advice as long as I tell you it's not legal advice.
That's correct. As long as you say this is not legal advice. Exactly.
But here's...
Okay. Anyway, so that's number one. Number two is you have to believe, again, for those of you who haven't watched our podcast from the beginning, I'm not just an attorney, I'm a software engineer. I've been coding since I was 9 years old. I am embedded with AI software these days. It's one of my favorite things to play with. There are no good answers in AI when it comes to legal. There just aren't.
Nope.
It doesn't understand the nuances of the legal system. Because remember, AI is not really artificial intelligence. It's not actual intelligence. It's just a word. It's just an interpreter. It can take language and it can understand what you're trying. It doesn't even understand. It just kind of takes language and assumes what you're trying to say or what you want it to say, and then spits out a coherent response. But it's not actual artificial intelligence. It can't problem solve. It can't strategize. It can't do any of those things.
The problem has to be known in order for it to solve it.
Yeah.
Right?
One of the problems in the legal world is there's no such thing as the same case twice. There's always something different, right? She was going 35 miles an hour and hit me in a 40 mile an hour zone versus she was going 35 miles an hour, hit me in a 25 mile an hour zone, right? There's always little nuances to everything that happens. So the chances that your software is going to be able to say there's an exact, without question, reproduction of the exact incident that occurred, here's your legal advice. It's not going to be able to do it. Because there's always little things that it has to pick up and plan.
Let's dumb it down, though, right? So let's say that it's not. He's building an AI that just helps you understand the law, right? Like, how many terms and conditions do people just sign off on and they have no understanding?
Everybody.
Okay. How about how many leases do people sign where they don't understand what's in the lease?
This week alone?
How about in the last 15 minutes, right?
Yeah, right.
So, once again, because I hate scrapping ideas, is if we solve a portion of a problem. So let's say that instead of being a law expert or, an attorney, essentially, what if the app simply helps you understand what you're about to sign? So like if I have a lease, I could scan in the lease, and then as a consumer, I could ask the AI, is there anything unusual in this lease? Right? Because you and I both know people put weird stuff in, right?
Yes.
Or if you sign terms and conditions, like you ask the AI, is there anything that seems abnormal in this, right? And imagine if Meta would have gotten away with being allowed to turn all the photos you upload to social media into stock photography.
Oh, gosh.
Right? But like, there could be the next social media site could have those terms in it. Like, and then being able to ask it questions if it says, hey, here are some things I think you should look at. And then you should be able to ask the app, okay, how is this significant? Why do I need to understand
Okay,
it?
so yes, so you're getting to the point where it's providing you with a roadmap, but it's not taking you to the end because it's never going to be able to take it to the end.
Correct.
All right, and then let me give you an example. I've been playing with software like this for years. I mean, well, a year and a half now. I've been really trying to get it to work. Let's say I put a contract, and I purposely use the word contractor in there. Okay, so let's say I put an agreement, so I don't overlap the words. I put an agreement into the system, and the agreement has homeowner and contractor. Okay, it's going to read that and recognize the word contractor, but then it thinks that the contractor is actually a third party. It doesn't realize that contractor is the name, the pseudonym in the contract or agreement for the person who's going to be doing the work. Okay. It thinks it's a third-party contractor, like a subcontractor. It can't distinguish between the two because, again, it's just reading words. It's not understanding or inferring what the words mean.
Right.
So that's part of the issue. But yes, you're right. You could put something in there, and I've written software like this. You could put something in there where it at least gives you a roadmap on what to do. It's really good at saying, okay, I want to write an agreement. Here are the parameters. Write it out for me. And it's probably a good 65% of what I would need. Now, there's a lot of things it doesn't do. If I don't specifically tell it to put like indemnification clauses in, and it doesn't understand the difference between indemnity and IP indemnity, things like that. But it gives me about 65% of what I would need. So as a layperson and as a non-attorney, it'll give me a great roadmap on where to start. Right. But it's never going to take me to the end. And you would still need to talk to someone who understands what they're doing.
Correct. If you're writing or doing any of this. But even just from understanding terms and conditions and all these things, like how many waivers do we sign in our lifetime?
Oh my gosh. Every day.
How many?
Every day. Every time you sign up for something.
Correct. So I would love to see an app where you could scan whatever it is you're about to sign, and the app tells you, oh, here's what it really means. Right? Or here's what it could mean.
I could see that. I could absolutely see that.
I don't think you're going to get one that functions as an attorney, but I'm looking at it more as a translator from legal speak to human speak.
So Revolutionary Shoe here, they're trying to say it's a one-stop for all, and it's not going to be.
Correct.
And it can't be a one-stop for all, but it could be, the start of it at least could be what you're saying, right? It could be everyone goes online, and when they open their iPhone or their Android phone, they just hit accept. They don't know what it says or what it means. Have something that explains, everything you're about to sign. Instead of having 70 pages of text, it condenses it down to half a page of the important features.
And you could do this so rather than having it be a single GPT, you could have multiple that are specialized in different things.
Sure.
One that's specialized in terms and conditions.
Right.
One that's specialized in, I don't know, slip and fall waivers, like whatever it is.
Sure.
So that you can at least understand what it is that you're signing.
Yeah.
Once again, I'm with the solve 80% of the problem.
Right.
And that's more than most are doing. Right.
Right. So yeah, I mean, again, it's a good idea. It's being done. It's been done, but it's nowhere near. Okay, we don't need attorneys anymore. I do think we will get there. But I honestly do. But we're probably 5-10 years away from that.
Can I just point out something though?
By all means,
because I saw the comment that's under it. Right.
Oh, let me see what it says.
So you have a guy that is building an app who's not a software engineer.
Are you at least a law person?
So, and he's probably not even a lawyer, but this is exactly why I love the business side of things. We've had this conversation too. You don't have to have extensive knowledge in something you want to do, and you don't have to love it. But if you can figure out how to make the idea work and pull the people together, you could turn almost anything into a business.
Yeah.
Right?
You can.
I love the fact that he's not a lawyer. He's not a programmer. He's not.
Well, actually, we don't know that he's not a lawyer. The person just asked, but I'm going to assume he's not.
Me too.
So anyway, again, you can do it to a point. It's not going to be a one-stop shop. It's not going to be the be-all, end-all. It's just, again, you're talking to an attorney and a software engineer. It's tried. It's been tried over and over again.
And they're going to keep
trying.
Even
even the large database companies like Westlaw and Lexis, they have their own versions of AI that are good but not great.
Right.
And that's just how it's going to be for a while. I would say probably good 5-10 years before it really becomes something that even remotely resembles legal advice.
I would buy that.
All right, let's see what else we got.
I got to tell you a funny story.
Oh, please. I love stories.
While you are looking for the next
one.
So a few years ago, I had a guy reach out to me on TikTok. And he's like, hey, so I built this soccer betting AI that bets on the Italian, Spanish, and English soccer, the 1x2, right?
Yep.
And he's like, it's accurately predicting at like 82%.
Okay.
And I'm like, what do you mean it's... I'm like, is it accurately predicting wins and losses? And he's like, no, it's accurately predicting at 82% for winning. So if the spread is 1, if the spread is 2, it's still 82% accurate.
Wow.
Which is mind-blowing to me, right? But it comes back to what I was talking about earlier. So you want to know what this guy actually did for a living before he had this built?
What?
He was a doctor.
Nice.
Do you know why
Did he build it himself?
No, so he hired people to build it. He came up with the idea for it, how he wanted it to work. Now, there's a caveat, right? It can't project, it doesn't hit 82% accuracy until the player roster is released for the match.
Which in soccer, sometimes
30 minutes prior, right? But what was interesting to me is I asked him, and I'm like, what in the world made you want to build this? And he was like, well, I love betting on soccer, and I was tired of losing all the time. I was like, so that drove you to have an AI system built that predicts soccer scores? And he's like, yeah. And he's like, I'm no longer a doctor. Now this is what I do.
Right.
I'm like, what do you mean this? He's like, oh, I bet. That's the AI and the predictions are what paid for him to have the AI built. And I was like, that's ingenious.
So this year, hopefully none of my friends see this, but for this year, for our fantasy football league, I spent about 2 hours preparing all the stats and all the player rosters and everything for each team, the schedules, etc., and was feeding it into my GPT. And I used my GPT to help me draft my team. And at the end of the draft, I had a pretty damn good team. And, then the system always says who they think has the best ranked team. And my team was like far and away number one. In reality, not so much.
Right.
Because it doesn't know who's going to get injured, who's going to be,
Correct.
Who's going to have this problem, that problem, et cetera.
It's the exact reason I will not bet on sports.
Yeah.
Right? Is you can look at all the numbers and then someone stubs a toe running out into the field and it changes everything.
It changes everything. Yeah. So, but it was fun. It was an interesting experiment. I'll probably do it again, change a few things, but if you do it right, GPTs can really help. They really can.
It's a fun time we live in right now, especially from a business perspective, because AI and the access to this and the information is so good. It's so easy to get basic questions answered anymore, right? The more nuanced stuff, you need to understand how to prompt to get that, but you can get basic information. Like it's so cool.
Yeah. Quickly too.
Yeah.
It's not like Google where it used to be, let me Google that for you. And it would give you a bunch of results. You got to go scrolling through them to find the answer. Now it just gives you the answer. In fact, Google itself gives you the answer with its without. They have BART, right? Google BART. Isn't that their AI?
Oh, Bard.
Bard. Yeah.
And then they have Gemini, and then they have the.
But the one that they use in the search engine, that's Bard, right?
No, so they actually use Gemini for that.
Oh, they use Gemini. Oh, okay,
I believe, which is the AI answer, basically. I believe it's the Gemini model that powers those results.
Okay. Got it.
But it's interesting.
All right. Moving on. Phoenix 2023 says, best tips to find an online business idea. This has got you written all over it. Hi, everyone. I'm a student in a computer science program, and I'm interested in entrepreneurship. I really want to try it and become an entrepreneur and see if it works for me, or not especially when I'm still a student in the university. I'm really struggling to find a business idea in my field, which is software engineering and AI related things. Back to AI again.
Didn't we just have this conversation?
Can anyone help me give me some ideas or tips on how to find a business idea and validate it? I really appreciate your help. What's a business idea in the software world? I mean, there's billions of them.
I know. I actually, once again, because I have a tendency of peeking at the answers below, the guy kind of says it below, is sometimes you can't brute force an idea. Sometimes the idea, you just have to wait for it or you will spot it, right? The key thing is once you start looking at the world with that mindset, right, of what is a problem I can solve?
Right.
Right? Like that's how you go out into the world. So rather than complaining about a problem, if you hear enough people complaining about the same problem, there is probably a solution waiting to happen, right? So you can decide that you want to make something, but chances are if you already know that it's there and it's already to market, you're going to have more competition, which makes it harder than if you can solve a problem that nobody else is solving.
Sure.
And people always think, well, every problem's been solved.
No, they haven't.
No, we're not even
In
close.
fact, sometimes the solutions to a problem just create more problems that need to be solved.
I always think of that stupid plastic thing that you put your sock on it and you put it on the ground and then you slide your foot in and it helps you put your sock on.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
So it's like a stand,
Okay.
right? So you pull your sock on the stand and it leaves the open, right? So you can stick your foot in.
Like a giant shoehorn?
Yes.
Really?
Just for socks.
I've never seen this.
And then you slide it in.
I didn't know putting on socks was a problem.
Not for you and I.
Okay.
What about for your great-grandmother?
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay.
Right? So what it allows them to do is you can pick this plastic thing up, you can put the sock on it, put it on the ground, and now you can put your socks on. And I'm like, who would have thunk that was a problem until you saw someone struggling putting on their socks for whatever reason?
No,
and you
that's a
went,
point.
I can solve that, right? I'll guarantee you the guy that came up with that didn't sit around going, what if I could create like a put on my sock helper? Like, no, that's not how it happened.
No,
right?
Of course. They saw a problem and they came up with a solution.
It, right? And I think that's how a lot of great business ideas are born is you spot a problem one day and you go, I wonder if this has been solved. And then you go, why hasn't someone solved this? Like, is it a business idea?
So how do you? So how would you? So I mean, I can answer this too, of course. But how would you equate that to software? So you're in the software world, and you can build software models, and you can use AI, or you can program AI. Where would you go to look for problems?
Anywhere people are looking for help.
Right.
So Reddit, Facebook, Instagram. Figure out what are people complaining about or asking for help on.
And it doesn't have to be a software issue.
Correct.
It could be something in the real world that software can handle.
Yes. Right? It's, let's take something stupid. Troubleshooting routers.
Okay.
Right? Even
that sounds stupid. It's actually kind of complex.
Right? But it's still like, how many people know how to properly configure their home router so that it's safer?
Configure, they don't know how to get into it.
Right? And it's a problem.
It's written right on it, but they don't know how to get into it.
So it's a problem.
Yeah.
But you don't know it's a problem until someone logs into your router and downloads 7 movies, and then you get a letter from attorney going, hey, there were 7 movies illegally downloaded, right? And once again, we have to remember, a big part of the world lives so close together that the Wi-Fi signal from your neighbor is better than your own.
Yeah, in some cases,
So it's stuff like that. And there's going to be someone that comes up with something. I mean, I remember, what is it, CrowdStrike?
Oh, the game.
No. Isn't it called CrowdStrike? anti-hacking software, whatever that caused the outage in Microsoft the other day.
Oh, yes. I'm sorry. Yes.
Right? And I was like, do you think anybody 25 years ago was worried about that type of stuff, that CrowdStrike was even a business, right? And now it's valued at like multi-billion dollars, whatever it is. And it's a company that nobody ever heard of until it created a problem with Microsoft. And then all of a sudden, everybody knew who CrowdStrike was, right? But it's those types of ideas that I think are always the best, is spot a problem, see if you can come up with a relatively simple solution. If you can, chances are someone else will pay you to solve that problem for them. That's what most of us do for a living, right? That's what most products are designed to do.
Right.
The guy that invented the fork in Egypt probably went, so when I'm eating with my hands, they become dirty, and now I have to find a way to wash them.
I think the fork came out first.
But if I use this stick, wait a minute, what if I put two sticks together? Oh, look.
That's chopsticks.
That's chopsticks. Right? So the same guy, let's assume.
He came up with both?
Let's assume he had the chopsticks.
Okay.
And he's like, there's got to be a faster way. What if I can put 4 chopsticks together? Right? But almost everything we have around us was solving some kind of problem.
Sure.
Even the Frisbee solved a problem.
Yeah.
It was an entertainment, right? Like, I'm bored. Okay. What do you want to do? I don't know. Let's go throw this thing around.
Yeah.
Oh, look. It flies. That's pretty cool. Maybe we should mass produce them, right? Like I don't know.
So long story short, there's lots of places to go to see what problems are people having. And then find out which of those problems do you think could be solved by software, and start trying to solve them.
And AI. Like we had this conversation. Problem. I have a bunch of stuff in my fridge, but I don't know what I can cook. And someone already did this, right?
Yeah.
So now you can go take a picture of the stuff in your fridge, and they go, hey, here's a recipe you can use based on the ingredients you have.
Yep.
It was a known problem, but until we had AI, there was no easy way to solve it. Now there is. And there's got to be more of those.
Oh,
there's got to be a tons
of those. So many things we haven't even thought of yet. And it's not like they're complicated. It's not like you need to be in a think tank to think of these things. You just need a little bit of imagination, in a couple hours of your time each day to go online, and eventually you're going to hit something. You're going to say, you know what? And guess what? It might fail miserably. And guess what? Go do it again.
Yes. And again. And again.
And again.
Right? And the interesting thing is, a lot of times you see these problems because friends have talked about it, or family has talked about it, or you see it while you're out and about. When you start going into that and looking for problems, you're like, how many problems can there be? Right? Like, because they're endless.
Yeah.
The question becomes, which one are you going to solve?
Yeah.
That's the one you turn into a business.
What problem would you like to solve today? That's the question you should be asking yourself. All right. So, Phoenix 2023, good luck to you on that. And just go find out what, and keep the problems simple. Don't try to solve the world's problems right now, but look to see what problems people are having. Don't even think of it like a problem. Just like what could you make that would make people's lives easier, or businesses easier, or whatever they're doing easier.
Look.
Oh, here we go.
No,
that's a watch.
It's a smartwatch.
Is it?
Yeah. I always said I will never buy one of these. Do you know why I bought this?
You said it last time on the podcast, but I forget.
Right. So it solves 3 problems now. Okay. Right. It keeps track of my blood oxygen level.
Right.
And it was one of those, and it tracks, for example, if you start developing sleep apnea. And I didn't even know this until after I got it. That wasn't the reason I got it. The reason I got it was I hate my phone ringing. So I always have it on either silent or vibrate. And I would miss, and most of the time those calls are irrelevant, but because I own and run a business, I have to be somewhat available, and at least when some people call, answer the phone. This watch solved that problem of me being able to keep my phone on silent. Like, I didn't even know it was a problem that was solvable until I was like, wait a minute. So I didn't start with the really nice one. I started with the one that only vibrated when my phone rang, and that was it.
That's where you began.
That was it.
And you realize, this has significantly more uses.
Correct. Right? Like, this can solve other problems too.
Right.
But 5 years ago, 6 years ago, I would have told you the smartwatch is the dumbest thing on the planet to spend your money on.
Hey, I remember, God, it had to be 20 years ago now. Wow. No, longer than that.
Time
1999, I remember. I was working for a company as the webmaster. Yes, we used the term webmaster back then. And it sounds corny now, but back then it was a cool title.
It was a cool title.
This group of guys came to me. They were like, "Hey, we're working on an application, but we need a web component to it. Can you work with it?" Because they knew how to program. I think they were using C++, but they didn't know how to do web programming.
Right.
So I knew both, and I was like, "Yeah, sure, I could work with you." Long story short, the problem they were solving was hospitals at the time had no clue where their patients were at any point in time. Meaning if a patient was taken to one place or to another, if a family member came, where's my husband, where's my son, they have no clue where they're at. So these guys were, and I don't know how far it went because I only worked on them for like 6 months, but they were developing a product where each patient on their bed would have a tag, and then there'd be sensors throughout the hospital, and then you would know at any point in time where the person was. It was a problem they were solving because it was a problem back then. Now it's easy. Now you always know where people are.
Correct.
But back then you really didn't know where a patient was at any point in time. And it was a software with a little bit of hardware too, but a software solution.
Right. And I mean, that's the same thing. It's the same problem the AirTag solved.
Yeah.
Just on a different level.
Yeah.
Right? It's just tracking the location of something.
They just found, I read the story yesterday, $500,000. Was it a Lambo? I think it was a Lambo. Let's just say it was a Lambo. I can't remember. $500,000 Lambo was stolen, and it had an AirTag in it, and they were able to find it in like 20 minutes because of the AirTag.
Right.
It's a new world out there.
It's funny because like we used to have this built into the systems, like like OnStar, right?
Yeah.
And
remember LoJack?
Yeah,
remember LoJack?
Yeah. And like you would have to pay a subscription for it, right?
Now you buy a $20 AirTag. It's better than anything.
Correct. You throw it somewhere in the car.
They knew how to get the LoJack out.
Yeah.
They knew how to rip those things out. Those AirTags are this big. You can't find those.
This could be hidden inside
anywhere.
the seat, and you wouldn't know it, right? And they never need charging, right?
All right, let's move on. Let's see. Okay, let's see here. Neither Explorer asks, is it worth spending my time to build a platform with live one-on-one fitness coaching for $10 a session? After paying tons and tons for personal training, I thought about how you don't need someone expensive to motivate you and just check that you're doing the exercises. So my team and I made a product to help those with fitness goals that need one-on-one humans often, but with a very low budget. Basically, our coaches won't fix your form, but you'll get routine one-on-one video calls with someone watching you do the exercises and motivating you a bit, so that you have some form of accountability. Is there any real value in continuing? I mean, it's based on your audience, right? I'm sure there's lots of those out there doing that. Tons of personal fitness trainers they're using apps to communicate with their people. And
yeah, but what he's saying is that, like, basically I could sign up to encourage you on.
Yeah, sure.
Right? Like, go, Mike, go.
Yeah. No, I get it. I understand. It's not actual fitness
for $10 a month.
Why limit it to fitness? Be encouraging for anything. Hey, I need some encouragement right now. I'm feeling down. I'm feeling procrastinating. Right.
So that actually brings me
procrastinate. I'm feeling procrastinate.
That actually brings up an interesting point. Did you ever read the what is it? The 7-minute study? That
I don't think so.
It's a fascinating, because that kind of brings this in, but also the other thing where you said it could be for everything. We have a joint, Mark Lund.
Yeah.
I found this and I sent it to him, and he's like, "That's amazing." And so now me and Mark always use, if you ever need 7 minutes.
Explain what it is.
So it had something to do with, I want to say, like suicides, depression, all this type of stuff. And they found that a lot of those could have been prevented. A lot of these things can be prevented. And the magic number is a 7-minute conversation.
Okay.
If you have a 7-minute conversation with someone, regardless of what it's about, right? You are far less likely to do any of that stuff.
Because whatever's going on in their head is probably dissipated after 7 minutes. Okay, that
and
makes sense.
Just the ability to communicate with someone. I'll look it up and I'll bring it on the next time. Yeah, I'll once again, because I don't want to misquote it because I thought it was fascinating. I'll look it up and next week I can run you through it because
it sounds kind of cool.
It's really cool because it applied to so many different things. It was just
so. To put it into sales perspective, if you're trying to sell somebody something and they say no, keep talking to them for 7 minutes. You'll get them to say yes. All right, so $10 a session. I mean, it's relatively, I guess that's a session. That's not a month. Never mind. Per session. Do I want to pay somebody $10 to motivate me? Each time I want them to motivate me, do I want to pay $10? I don't know that I do. I think I'd rather keep the $10. What did Mr. Burns say in The Simpsons? Remember it was years ago.
Yeah.
It was where Homer was doing the pyramid scam where you send $1 here, $1 there, and Mr. Burns holds up $1 and says $1 for eternal happiness. Nah, I'd be happier with the $1.
Yeah. Look, could it work? Could it be a business idea? Possibly, just because you and I wouldn't pay someone $10 to cheer us on.
Yeah, it doesn't mean other people wouldn't.
Right.
I mean, people think about microtransactions in games and stuff. How much people pay for like a sheep or
correct
something like that. Which insane.
Right.
Don't tell me you're in those themes. You're not in the Farm Bill or anything, are you?
No.
Okay. Is that even a thing still?
I don't know.
Bill?
I don't know.
I don't either.
So once again, there's a market for everything.
Everything.
Right? So if you can find the right people to be the motivators and people see results from it, right? It's the same thing I say about any app. Weight Watchers. Weight Watchers, what makes them good is the accountability portion, right? Because you have to log whatever you did that day and it gives you a raw number and you're like, oh, right? And then it keeps motivating. Duolingo's algorithm.
I've used it a little bit.
For when to nudge you. And they don't nudge you with the same message all the time. Like they have it's interesting to read that study. But like, I think there are people that are willing to pay for this. Do I think this is going to be the next $1 billion idea? Probably not. Could this be a
side gig?
I honestly think this could even be a few $1 million idea because if you think about it, it's $10 per session,
right?
And let's say it's 5 minutes, just to like get you going,
right? If
someone decides that I just need someone to pump me up for 5 minutes, and then I will go do the hour workout, how much is that worth? Especially if you're on a weight loss journey or like whatever it is.
Yeah, so the issue comes down because I built something not for fitness but for other things a while ago like this, where it was video communication, etc. The issue is going to be availability. I'm ready to work out now. Are the fitness trainers online? Are they there then when I'm ready to work out? What if it's 2 a.m. and I'm working out because I work?
Yeah, but that's a issue.
It's a calendaring issue, right? So what you're telling no, I'm just thinking this through, right? You're telling the fitness trainer that they, or whoever the motivator is, they need to be available at 2 a.m. on Saturday morning because I work the night shift and I'm going to be working out between 2 and 2:30.
I have the answer.
Of course you do. That's why you're here.
I have the answer. This guy partners with the other guy and they build AI versions of these people that motivate you. Hear me out.
The video AI?
The video AI.
Oh my gosh.
Right?
They still don't have the mouth right.
There is, that's okay. We'll get there, right? Like the AI guy can solve that.
The hands and the mouth.
That's okay. You don't need to see that. I'm supposed to be motivating you, right? Like you don't really need to see my hands.
They'll wear masks.
But here you might have like idea A that actually partners well with idea B. Is on one side, this has issues like availability and scheduling and all that stuff, which is, I mean, it can be solved, but it means you have to have a lot of people available at any given time. The other guy is looking for a problem to solve. These guys are going to have a problem whether they realize it or not because of the people that want to wake up at 2 a.m. and work out and there's nobody on the app that they can call. So
Okay, so we got Phoenix 2023. You need to hook up with Neither Explorer, is what
yes,
you're saying.
that's exactly what I'm saying. Because think about it, like how much then your cost, everything is scalable at that point in time.
Right.
Right? Like, and you can do it in multiple languages. Like we just combine two ideas into one. And I think there's money to be made there.
That's interesting.
My motivation coach.
My motivation buddy.
Right.
Because you have all the buddy domains, right?
Let me go register.
I'm sure
that
you
one
have
right
the
now.
buddy domain for it already.
But yeah. So like once again, do I think this is something everybody would buy? No.
No.
But
A lot of people.
how many?
That's all you need.
How many people ever bought a Anthony Robbins book?
I couldn't tell you.
Right? Did everybody?
No, of course not.
No, you don't.
Only, yeah, but especially with something like this, it's recurring. You only need a handful of people.
Correct.
100, you're set.
Yeah, but you could get 100 in any given city at any given time. Right? So let's say you got 20 people in every major city in the US to sign up for this. That is still in the hundreds.
Oh yeah.
Right? And it's per session. So it's not even per month. You could have people that are spending $100 a month.
You make a few thousand a day off.
Yeah. Like I think it's a legit idea. And I think he should partner with the other guy and make an AI version of it.
There you go.
I
See
like
that?
it.
We're the connection. We're the connecting people.
Yes.
We'll start connecting different ideas together and different people. All right. So
That could be a whole separate show for us.
Oh my god! Well, instead of dating connections, it's
business connections.
We'll start connecting business people.
Startups together.
So we'll connect startups together. I love it. We'll search through. We'll find the people that we think should link up, and we'll make a show out of it.
I like it.
Oh, now we got to come up with a new name, though.
I know.
Oh man. All right. Well, no, we saw how hard this one was.
Two wrongs don't make a right.
No.
Can we call it that one?
We're not doing it now. Okay. All right. So Neither Explorer. Is it worth it? Yeah, definitely worth it. It could, I kind of like the AI angle. It's interesting
because the overhead on this is nominal.
Yeah, very
right?
nominal.
Like it's, yeah,
right. You know, I used to. I've said it before, but if you don't remember, I used to be in the Marine Corps, and when I was running, not running right now, but when I was running, I would use I think it's MyFitnessPal. Right?
Okay. Yeah.
And they had the voice is over for how long you've run, like, half mile, et cetera, et cetera. And they allowed you to change the voices. And there was one that was drill instructor. And every time he came on, it was so motivating to hear, here we go, 45 miles, do it. Oh, it was great. I loved it. So, yeah, you know what?
But that's funny because
I like the AI side of it because you can tell the AI what kind of personality you're looking for. Mm-hmm. Right, and if you want the Hulk Hogan, or if you want the something not quite as
in your face,
in your face like Hulk
right?
Hogan, you could do that too, right?
But it's funny.
It's interesting
because that actually ties into like neuropsychology type thing. Is the reason that was motivating for you is because it recalls a time.
Oh yeah,
right. Like it
absolutely.
But it's yeah. I could totally
see that happening.
I would want Keanu Reeves to do a voiceover for that. I would want
Morgan Freeman
to yell at me, to motivate me.
Wait, in the John Wick voice?
Yeah.
Or in the Neo voice?
Either or. I would take either, to be honest with you.
Interesting. Keanu Reeves. He would do it too.
He would.
From what I understand, he's like the nicest guy in the world.
That's what I read.
Yeah.
Another one would be Deadpool. Man, now we're getting way outside of the realm.
Absolutely.
Of it. But I think.
I mean, if we're talking about superheroes, my personal favorite is Robert Downey Jr. playing Tony Stark.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, his wit in those movies is incredible.
Marvel would not be where they are today
without him.
For that first Iron Man movie, it changed everything about Marvel.
And it's not just the script; it's him. It's the way he delivered those lines that was phenomenal.
It was just how he played that entire character.
Moving on. Okay. All right, let's see what we have. Okay, rate my fitted sheet. I had to read that first to make sure it was what I thought it was.
It is, and I don't know how to. I don't know.
Let me read it first. Okay, so 𝙎𝙬𝙧𝙧 says, would you buy a fitted sheet with a drawstring to tighten it around the mattresses to finally put an end to sheets slipping off the mattresses? This is a problem. I'm not kidding. This is a problem.
Okay.
All right. I tested the idea. I paid a seamstress to create the product, and it works. The sheet is tightly secured around the mattress, and there's no risk of it slipping off. Also, before doing all this, I checked to make sure the product didn't already exist in the market, and indeed it doesn't. What does exist are some kinds of elastic clips, they don't work either, that attach to the sheet on either side, which is absolutely not practical, by the way. It seems to me that the existence of these clips proves there is a consumer demand for a solution to unruly mattresses. It's not mattresses, but it's the sheets. But yes, what do you think? You seem to have an opinion before I even read it.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Drawstringsheets.com.
It's a thing?
This product exists.
So I'm sorry.
I had to look up the name, but I literally was Googling this the other day, and I'm like, oh, look.
That's
fitted
funny.
Sheets with a drawstring.
So they actually have that.
I thought that was an ancient concept. I was like,
I have no idea. I haven't thought of it. I know that our sheets always pop off.
Yeah, I just assumed that we went from drawstring to this rubber elastic thing because the drawstring thing must not have worked.
Yeah.
But apparently the drawstring thing was never a thing until recently. Because like I said, I thought what we had now was an evolutionary like product design. No, it wasn't.
See, is that crazy? You would think that's something that's been around forever.
To me, it made perfect sense, right? Because I would think what we have now would have been an upgrade from the drawstring.
Right.
No.
So it exists. It's already there.
It is a good idea. Now you're just not first to market.
But you don't have to be.
No, just do something.
Because I never heard of it. You never heard of it until just now.
Well, the other day when I was.
Oh, you were looking at the other day.
That's why.
That's why you were laughing.
Yes.
Oh, that's too funny. This is. I was like, maybe this is from a year ago or something, but it's not from a day ago. Oh, that's too funny. Let's see.
I actually had to look up like what the name of it was, but it's drawstringsheet.com.
So some people comments. So the first comment is correct. I love this. This is your market test theory. Mm-hmm. Produce 100 and put them on Amazon.
Yeah,
see what happens.
Actually, I can do you one better. Amazon publishes how well things sell.
Yeah.
And this product is already on Amazon.
Okay.
And that'll give you an idea of
how well it sells.
Correct.
What the market demand is.
All of this data is available. You can get it from a third party as well.
Yeah.
But that gives you an idea. Now, keep in mind, because it's a new product or a newish product, your numbers are going to be skewed because not enough people probably know about it. But you can definitely go and look and see if it's selling. And if it is, why not get into the market?
Doesn't mean you can't get into the market.
The downside is you can't patent it or any because
unless they've already patented it.
Well, if the other company patented it, you can't produce it.
Correct.
Right? So let's be clear on that.
But if they didn't, you can produce it, you just can't patent it.
Correct.
Unless it's it
means,
has to be a jump. It has to be a pretty big jump from what's already there.
Which means that in a couple of years, if this becomes a hot seller, because you have to remember.
Yeah, you'll be fighting the big players. Yeah.
You'll be fighting the Chinese manufacturers.
You'll be fighting Big Mattress.
Yeah. But no, so what a lot of the Chinese manufacturers end up doing is they use this exact data,
of course,
to scour through Amazon to
what should we make today?
Yep. Yeah. What's moving? What's selling? Okay, great. We'll produce this for the next 3 months.
Yep.
They'll flood the market with cheap versions of it, and then they know that market is, pretty well filled.
Till it's saturated, yeah.
And then, they'll make one batch a year and that's it. But if it's your primary business, they just became a pain in your rear end, right?
Well, there you go. It's a good idea. I do like the idea.
Yep.
It's already being done, but doesn't mean you can't jump into it.
Correct.
But if you're going to do it soon, I guess, right?
That would be
an idea.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, an AI art generated idea.
There's a lot of AI stuff lately.
Hey, that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. Maybe it's AI writing these things.
Did you look up
Have you thought of that?
Did you look up AI startup ideas?
No, this is just startup ideas.
Okay.
Just startup ideas.
A lot of AI.
Startup. Although I'm sure there is an AI startup ideas already, and if there isn't, I'm going to be the moderator on that. All right, let's see. Let's see. Skitty Baker says, or Cynic Baker says, an AI art generator and wanted some feedback. I've been working on a site for anyone to make images in less than 5 seconds and see what others make too. Here's how it works. Make as many images as you'd like. Well, thank you. See similar ones as you create them. Discover other photos and rank them the best you like. Here's a link to the app. So it's more of an ad, but etc. So he's making an AI art generator. Okay, there's 1,000 of them out there. Okay.
Yeah. You cannot make that free or make as many as you want. Like this, people don't understand what the real cost of running
the computing power, you mean? Correct. Oh my God, yeah, I know.
Right? So just because something is free right now or cheap you have to remember that
someone's paying for it somewhere.
These models are trying to get you hooked, and then all of a sudden they'll slap you with a nice big, oh, by the way, if you want to continue, here's the fee. Yeah. Now what do?
You pay it.
But will your users pay it?
Right.
Because you still have to make the margin.
Right.
So it always scares me whenever I read unlimited AI on something. I'm like, it's not unlimited. You and I both know that.
See, the smart move is to build an API, have people integrate their product with your API, and then spring the price change on them. Because now it's a no-brainer. They have to move forward with it. Otherwise, they're losing their product. Right. Their project.
Yeah, that's what they're doing. That's what all these AI companies are doing.
Yeah.
Is they want you to buy the API access, right? They want you to...
Did I say AI or API? I said API, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But I mean, that's where the money is going to be made. Yes, there's going to be end consumer things.
Right.
But all of those are going to be reliant on more or less some kind of API connection because you need the computing power in the background.
Yep.
Unless you can figure out a way to integrate Llama into the app, for example. Isn't that Llama that's small enough to be run on a cell phone?
I believe so.
That's Facebook's, right?
Yeah.
Unless you can figure out how to make it happen on someone's device.
Right, where their computing power is.
Correct. You're always going to run into massive cost issues with anything.
All right, let's move on. Now, need your feedback on a product. No, I'm gonna skip that. Prototype tester is AI YouTube music channel. Just for that, click. This is from LPP100. Does anyone know where I can find a way to get AI to find music for me and put them together to monetize a YouTube channel? Can anyone tell me how to make free money? I had to look, but couldn't find anything. So it's sort of an AI selector, and then I can manually create a playlist and upload it to YouTube. You want this one, Gummi?
No. No, I didn't want any of it. I was rolling my eyes before you even opened it. Oh, man. So you have to understand, right now, this is the thing that's being talked about on like TikTok and social media and YouTube Shorts and all that stuff is, faceless channels are the next big moneymaker. So you have a faceless music channel or inspiration channel or calming channel or like... You have one popping up probably every second. Like just since you started reading this, there's probably 100 of these that have been launched. Right. Because that's the new thing for easy money. Just stop with the easy money, trying to hunt stuff down in the laziest. I shouldn't say that.
It's not lazy. It's just.
No, it's lazy. Some of this is lazy. But once again, if you solve this problem, if AI had already solved this problem that he's trying to solve, we would have 100,000 AI music YouTube channels running right now, right? Because everybody would go out and do exactly this. So now you're flooding the market with, I hate to say it, a bunch of junk. Could you make some dollars if your channel hits or you because it's not even you putting it together anymore. Right. AI is putting it together. Like, I get it if you want to do this and because you're talented at it but this is just one of those, this is the newest get rich quick schemes that is rampantly running through places like TikTok and YouTube.
Yeah. Terrible content too.
It's right. Like
I've seen it. I know.
I'm going to say that this idea is the dumbest idea I've ever heard in my life, just so I don't have to get more useless content on.
You think it's a dumb idea?
I think
if you put 20 of these together and make a few bucks, what makes it dumb?
Because you're using AI to do it. Like it's
so what?
I know.
If people watch it or people listen to it, does it really matter?
Yeah.
No, seriously, does it matter?
I guess it doesn't. If it's for a few bucks, but like, this is the problem with any of this. It's like, I love Gary Vee, right? But Gary Vee has been telling everybody for years, just go make content, right? Start putting stuff up. And now you have hundreds of thousands of people uploading stuff because they were told just go upload it. And they do 15 or 20 videos. And then they're like, well, none of this is working. I'm only getting 7 views. And it was like, well, it was because he didn't really mean just go post it, right? Like, yes, he meant go post it, but like go post it with a purpose, right? Like there's a reason you want to put this out. What is that reason? It's not just posted to post it, right? It's posted because you have a reason to do so. And that's the thought I think you should put into anything you put out, right? Like how many conversations did we have about even creating this content? Yeah. Right? Like we flushed out the idea and we asked the question, do you think it would be helpful to people? Right? And the answer was yes. Yeah. If ours was just, let's sit around and talk about different types of water bottles for an hour. Is that going to be helpful to someone? Right. Yes. But if I have AI create 100,000 videos on reviewing water bottles just because, is that being done with the intent of being helpful or solving a problem or any of that stuff? No, it's
being done with the intent of making money.
Well, and I'm the first one to tell you, if you find something, whether you like it or not, and it makes you money, I don't care if you have a passion for it. What I have a problem with is stuff like this, where it's literally a get-rich-quick scheme and people are paying other people money to download a guide on how to make money fast. Yeah. And they go, oh, yeah.
It's the gold rush.
Faceless channels are now the thing. Yeah. And I'm like, yes, but if your editing isn't spot on, if you are not doing it deliberately, if you don't understand what makes people stop and listen or look, then you're basically just pumping out a bunch of junk. You've wasted a ton of your time. You've wasted, and I'm going to get on my green horse right now, you've wasted a ton of energy that could have been better used, and I mean both yours and actual energy, that could have been done to do something useful. Like, this is a short-term, try to get rich quick thing. Just don't do it. Spend that time you're spending on this to come up with something that actually will work. Right. I'm sorry, I'll get off my high horse now.
No, it's okay. There's nothing wrong with that.
It's just when you are around business TikTok and franchise TikTok and like I am, creator talk, all those things, it gets to the point, like it's everybody's like, oh, digital marketing products, that's where it's at right now. And I'm like, that's where it's technically always been. The problem is now you have someone selling you a course with resell rights for you. So now you have 1 million people promoting the same course, using the same damn script in their videos. And then 99% of them are going, well, why isn't mine working? Right. Because you didn't put a single original thought into it. Like, you didn't convince the viewer that you actually cared enough about them that they should buy the product for them, not just because you're looking to make a sale. Right? But the original guy that created the script, that was his intent. Oh, yeah. So he made the video totally differently than you did. And that's why it worked for him, but it'll never work for you.
Do you know what I mean when I say it's like the gold rush all over again?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. A lot of people don't realize during the 1840s, the gold rush out in San Francisco, who made all the money?
Oh, well, besides the landowners that sold off the land, but the guy selling the shovels.
The supplies,
yes.
exactly. People
Yeah.
selling the
Yes.
picks and the
Yeah.
axes and supplies,
Yeah.
not the people who are actually mining for the
Correct.
gold. Same thing. It's people here who are selling you the ideas. Here's what you need to do. They're the ones that are making the money,
Yeah.
not the people who are actually
They're-
going out there.
they're
and doing
selling
it.
you the
There
tool-
might be a couple of people
Correct.
that make a few bucks, but so
they're,
far,
they're
between.
basically selling you the tools with the idea that you can go out and use it to make money that in 99.98% of instances is just not going to happen. Sorry.
All
And
right.
I don't like killing anybody's idea.
No, it's okay.
But like if we're talking about success rates,
Yeah.
that industry probably has the largest failure rate of any industry out there
Yeah.
because it's junk selling junk.
Junk selling junk is right. All right. Let's move over. Let's see. Ooh, seeking your input on a business idea selection. Looks like he gives a couple different ideas here.
We have done something similar
Okay.
to this.
Have we?
Yeah. Go ahead, read it.
All right. 𝙎𝙧𝙧𝙧 says, seeking your input. Hey, Redditors. I'm currently working on an assignment for my small business management course. I would love to get your insights on which business idea I should pursue. Here are the 3 concepts I'm considering. Vintage clothing rental, a service offering curated, high-quality vintage apparel for rent. Eco-friendly subscription box, a monthly delivery of sustainable products including reusable household goods and natural beauty items. And mobile plant care service, a service providing professional care for indoor plants, targeting busy urban dwellers who need assistance with plant maintenance. I'm leaning toward vintage clothing rental service because of my passion for sustainable fashion and the positive feedback I receive from social media, but I want to hear from you. Which idea resonates the most? Thank you for your input. Interesting.
Mm-hmm. So the first one we covered in a previous episode.
Did we?
Well, kind of. So clothing rentals already exist.
Yeah, right.
That's influencers. There's a bunch of people.
Yeah.
Movie studios,
Yep.
like clothing rentals exist. Vintage clothing rental is just a sub-market within that. It works. You could do that easily. Eco-friendly subscription boxes, they exist too. So neither one of those are really
Original, right?
or an idea that I haven't heard before. The third one, my gut reaction was initially, what? Why would someone do that? Like,
They go to your house and walk your pet or walk your dog, and
that's
take care of the
what I
cat.
was thinking. There's an entire business that just goes and picks up dog poop from your yard, right? I'm like, so anything, and I will be the first.
It's a gig job. It's a gig.
It's kind of a gig, but it's a subscription job too.
Well, yeah, but it's still a gig.
Yeah, but I was thinking about it. I didn't have plants in my house for almost 2 years
How did you breathe?
because every plant died.
Yeah.
Like
You wouldn't take care of it?
No, I would forget to water. It wasn't until I used technology to remind me to water the plants once a month and stuff, right?
It's too funny.
But like gardening and taking care of plants is like a whole thing.
It is a whole thing. Exactly.
It is
yeah.
and I could see that there are people that would want to have plants around, but simply don't want to deal with the hassle of that maintenance. So I actually
It
like.
doesn't sound like a lot either, but it really can be.
It is a lot, right? Like I was talking to one of my employees a couple of months ago, and I was like, "What'd you do yesterday?" She's like, "Oh, I spent half the day like taking care
Trimming
of my
my plants and stuff. Yeah.
I was like, "You spent what? Half a day on plants?"
Yeah.
Right? And then you think about it, people spend days and days and days in their yards doing
Well, think about it. If you let the
landscaping
plants go in the yard, what happens? They take over everything.
Correct.
As they're supposed to. Mother Nature.
So I like this idea of mobile plant care services.
Yeah.
I would even take it a step further. You know those companies that rent you the doormats and stuff for businesses, right? Where they literally just come in and they swap your doormat and they take the doormat somewhere else and they take care of it. I would do the same thing with plants. Like, tell me what plant you'd like to have in your house.
Oh, different plants. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Swap plants
and
out.
then I just swap the plant out. I take the plants back. I do what needs to be done so that I don't have to do it on site.
Right.
Now you don't need someone that actually likes taking care of plants to do it, because you can have one driver that goes up and picks up 50
and most
plants.
You take clippings off the plant it somewhere else, and you grow more plants. your actual acquisition costs for the plants themselves could be near zero.
Yes. You would have to pay for the pots.
Right.
And then you would have to know, like, this customer likes blue pots because it matches their decor.
Right.
So now you have 10 plants that are all in blue, right? But you limit it to like 4 colors, right? Blue, brown, red, whatever. And rather than going on site and having to go into their apartment and take care of it, you literally tell them, put the plant outside the door.
Yeah.
We'll swing by, pick it up, and we'll leave your replacement plant.
Yeah, that could be.
Which will look the same.
Yeah.
Right? Because we'll guarantee that you always have
it's like doing the dishes.
a 4-foot plant. Right? But that's the other thing. Like, they grow.
Yeah,
right? So you got to trim them back and stuff. Well, I happen to like my plant at the size it's at now.
Yeah.
I don't want it to grow. And I understand you can choke it down by making the pot smaller or whatever. But I totally think that last one, the mobile plant care service, could be taken to the next level. I genuinely think that there are people, just like people pay for subscription flowers.
Right.
I genuinely think that there is a market for rental plants, that I pay you $15 a month and you make sure that there's always a plant in my window because I like it, but I don't want to deal with the maintenance.
And are you the business responsible for making sure the plant is okay in the house? Like, you got to go water it and stuff like that?
Well, if you're
because you leave a plant for a month, it's going to die.
Most plants won't.
A month.
Really? This is why plants die at my house.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm sure there's a way to figure it out. You know what?
Yeah.
Depending on the plant.
Right.
Right.
Some plants can go for a while without.
Right. So start your library with plants that survive 28 days without water.
Or you get you ever see those bulbs, the ones that you fill with water?
Yeah.
And it's slowly.
Yes.
Yeah, you can put that in there too.
Like so.
So over time, yeah.
But it's all the other stuff with
Right.
having plants. Like, I didn't realize my mother-in-law apparently spends a couple of hours every month plucking leaves that are dying off. And
Right.
I was like, what? Like, another thing for me to take care of? No. Like, give me a cactus.
Cactus. That's great. So is it a good? Which one do we like? We like the plant idea. I like the plant idea quite a bit.
I do too.
It's, as far as I know, it's unique. I've never heard of it. It's no different than what people are doing now with dogs and cats. Like going, have your dog walked and cat litter changed and play with the animals for a few minutes, blah, blah, blah. And then what do? They send pictures and videos and stuff. You could do that with the plant too.
Yeah. The once again,
pose it with the plant.
the funny thing is, you would think it's like, it's silly, right? But if I would have told you a few years ago, oh yeah, there's this service that just shows up at your house and picks up the dog poop.
Yeah.
You'd have been like, why?
Yeah.
Why don't I just get a poopa scooper?
Because we're lazy.
Correct. Or we don't want to do things.
No, we're lazy.
And we don't want to do things.
Because we're lazy.
I wouldn't call it laziness.
I would.
Some of us are just some people are just busy, right? Like if you have to spend 2 hours mowing your lawn.
Yep.
And you do not have 2 hours any given day to do it. Are you being lazy, or are you just?
No, I agree. I pay someone to mow my lawn now. I got to tell you, it took about 2 hours to mow and trim and all that stuff. I loved doing it. I really did. It was It was peaceful. It was enjoyable. I would put my music on, and it was great.
Yeah.
But as you said, I just ran out of time. I just don't have the time to do it.
I saw someone the other day say, poverty mindset is people do it themselves to save money, while time mindset is you are willing to spend the money to get your time back.
Yeah, because I look at how much is my time worth per hour in a business sense, and then I say, okay,
not even that.
Who else? I can pay a person 1/10 of what I bill an hour.
So
to do something for me.
Your son just went off to college, right? How much would an extra half day with him be worth to you now that you don't see him every day?
Right, exactly.
Right, like, so I don't even put necessarily a monetary value on it, but I'm like, I could spend an hour with my kids now because I read a very, very, very sad statistic the other day, and I don't know if it's true or not. By the time your child turns 18, you have already spent 75% of all the time you are going to spend with them.
That probably makes sense.
At 18, 75% of all the time you spend with them happens before that.
Wow.
And I'm like,
oh, that's absolutely true with our daughter. I mean, we see her once or twice a year now.
right, for a few hours or a couple of days.
Days, yeah, that's about it.
Yeah,
that's very true.
I was like, when
That
someone
is sad. Oh.
when someone said it like that, and I'm like, this is why you buy your time back.
Yeah.
Right? Your time is worth different things at different times. Basically, what this told me is, until my girls turn 18, my time is going to be with them is going to be worth more than almost anything that I can do.
So then, going back to a couple of ideas ago, when they were talking about writing software, what to do with it, etc. Maybe you're not necessarily solving a problem. Maybe you're just giving people time back, right? You're doing something that can be done faster and easier and save people time that they can do other things with.
Right. That's what the recipe app basically did.
Right.
Is you no longer have to spend 30 minutes Googling recipes that may or may not have your ingredients. You literally just take a picture
and it comes up.
Right. Saves you 10, 15 minutes of trying to Google
recipes. It's not a
recipes.
problem. You can do it yourself if you need to.
Correct.
But how much time does this really save you? Oh, that's a very interesting point. Now I'm sad.
I'm sorry.
I'm just kidding. All right. Let's see. All right. I'm curious.
Because it uses the word problem?
Yes. This is from I123314. Is it considered a problem to plan your day for long periods of time? I'm creating a Telegram bot, and you know what Telegram is, right?
Yeah, the messaging app. Yep.
I'm creating a Telegram bot in which the user writes his plans via text message or voice message. After some days of planning, the bot could create a plan automatically, but I don't know if it will be relevant or not because my friends say it's useless. Don't listen to your friends. They don't know.
Do not listen to your friends.
Many people don't do things like this. Should I give up or start a new project idea? No, never give up. Always build. Continue building.
So I actually like where this is going.
Yeah.
Right? Is if you can make this like an Alexa type thing where I can say, hey, add this to my calendar for Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, whatever. Right. And I can just keep pumping it in and it automatically adds stuff to my calendar and starts figuring out, just like Alexa does. It starts figuring out routines. Right? So it starts planning. Like, I didn't realize it until the other day that Alexa is turning on and off lights in my house at correct times, right? Because it started learning, here's when I consistently would turn this light on, here's where I consistently would turn it off. And at some point, I auto-enabled the learn mode. So she is literally making my life simpler without me realizing she was making it simpler, right? Like, I would put the kids to bed, I would come down, and I was like, damn it, I forgot to turn the light on. So now I'm walking, in the wintertime, I was walking down into like a dark room.
Yeah.
That no longer happens. It's the little things, right? And with stuff like this, people, like, just because your friends say it's stupid and they wouldn't use it, it doesn't mean that there aren't people that
Lots of people
would use this, right? Like, I'm trying to read into this a little bit more, but like after some days of such planning, the bot would create a plan automatically. I'm thinking about this in the same context as like, what was it? Travelocity that just launched an AI that actually will help you plan a trip.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And you can put in like what your interests are and all that stuff. And it will literally create the itinerary for your trip.
Very cool.
So like you fly in, you get there, here's a perfect spot to have lunch because it's on the way to the hotel or it's next to the hotel. And then, it takes on average 4 hours for people to go through this museum. So you could fit that in at the end of the day before, like, I'm like, it's a stupid, like plan your own trip. And then I'm like, it's brilliant because you don't know what you don't know. Right. So, but if you know what your interests are, then it makes sense. So I think it's the same thing with this is I don't think people realize how much we are routine animals.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Right. Like I get up around the same time every morning. I have lunch around the same time. I do things. So I think ideas like this this is what Apple is doing. Take the mundane stuff right? The stuff that we really don't want to do, but
Right.
we don't think about it as being a
Right.
problem, or like we don't know that there is a better way or an easier way to do it. If you can do that and do it well, there's a business there.
Yeah.
I would just think this one completely through to see.
And don't listen to your friends.
No, never listen
Why
to
are
your
your friends always naysayers?
Yeah.
They never want to do anything.
No.
They always, oh no, it's a terrible
No.
idea. Then you go do it. Go try something.
Right. It's the funny thing is, did you ever hear the saying, "It's lonely at the top"?
Yeah.
And so what I
course.
found out is it's really not lonely at the top. You just end up having better friends and better conversations.
Right.
Right. Like the further I've moved up in my life, the more I realized that I have less people that want to hold me back. I have fewer people that are negative about things.
Right.
And I have more of the people that are go-getters around me. So it's not lonely at the top. I will guarantee you. It's lonely at the bottom because you feel like you can't talk to people because they're always negative about stuff.
Well, you know when it's lonely at the top is within an organization. It's very lonely at the top when you're in an organization and you're the one at the top. Because no one wants to tell you the truth. No one wants to,
Yeah, but once again, it's that.
But once you're outside the organization, talking to other people who are at the top of their organizations,
even in the organization, it should be the same philosophy, right? Is you should be the people directly below you, right? So if you're a CEO, you need to have really good conversations with the next level down so that you know that you're getting the information you need.
Oh, you should be, yeah.
Right? So that's how it should be tiered. What happens is somewhere, and I'm going to piss off some people, somewhere in the middle management level where people are looking out for themselves instead of the person above them is where that theory goes out the window.
Yeah, I agree.
That's just my theory.
All right, time for one more. Let's see. No. Well, what do you think? You want to look at it?
Look, all we've done today is AI.
This is true.
So if it's not AI, yes.
All right, this is from CRV95. I'm starting an import distribution retail business with $20,000 to $30,000 initial investment. Mm-hmm. Hello, everyone. I'm in the process of establishing an import distribution retail company in the U.S. Finally, the U.S. But I am at a crossroads regarding which products to focus on. I have $20,000 to $30,000 to invest to get things started. I've been considering focusing on products that serve small and medium businesses, so B2B, rather than consumer products, B2C, since I believe B2C might require higher marketing costs for typically lower margins. You are absolutely correct. Additionally, I believe it's easier to market something that brings clear value to businesses. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this approach. Given that I haven't settled on a specific product yet, I'm interested in getting some new perspectives. How do you decide on the products for your business? Are there any niche markets or product categories you believe have untapped potential in the U.S.? What factors should I consider when choosing products to import and sell? I know that no one on the internet can solve this for me, but I'd love to hear your thoughts and experiences. Thank you so much. No, don't smirk. Don't smirk. Go ahead. I was in Brazil once or Colombia, and I saw a guy put.
No, I was actually in King of Prussia.
Okay.
And
which is right down the road from us for people that don't know the area.
And I was at a networking event. This is going back, I don't even know how many years. And there was a guy that stood up and said, if you see this in a business, inside of any business you go to, let me know because I can lower the cost of these for them. And they will be forever grateful for introducing the two of us, right?
Okay. Was it the transaction?
No. So I'm looking at this thing and I'm like, that looks awfully familiar, right? It looked like a giant ink cartridge. Okay. So he was one of the first guys to start making aftermarket inks.
Oh, okay.
Right? But he wasn't making aftermarket inks for your desktop printers. He was making it for the large plotters where it's like, 500 milliliter type inks that go into like...
Right. And they cost a fortune.
They cost a fortune. So he had found a distributor in China that made these inks that were good enough quality. Because once again, people tend to forget that if you print out a banner, a vinyl banner, right? The average lifetime of that banner is going to be 3 to 6 months, and then you're going to throw it out.
Oh, is that right?
It's incredibly short. I don't remember exactly what the numbers are.
If constantly used.
If constantly used, right? So most of these have a limited lifespan. And we were getting to a point where the ink could actually outlast the material. So once again, is it good enough? Right? For what you need, is it good enough? This guy had a 7-figure business within like 9 months.
Wow.
Selling these inks. And it was all because he did exactly what this guy is doing, right? He went to China. I believe he went to a product show, and he saw someone introducing these and the beauty of it is he could do Roland, he could do Epson,
right.
He could do HP. Like, this aftermarket manufacturer was literally making it for every printer. So he's like, now I can go in, and if you're running a Roland and an Epson and a whatever else, I can get you all the inks. You don't have to call 3 different distributors to get it, or 3 different manufacturers. And it was just such a, like, not in a million years, once again,
right,
would I have thought of going, let me start selling inks.
I wouldn't have thought of that.
It's and this is where a lot of the like Tiger Direct.
Right. I remember them. Yeah.
Yeah. So they're still around.
Oh yeah, I know.
They actually have a wholesale wing because I order stuff from them.
Okay.
Be Green Ink is one out in California that started making eco-friendlier inks and toners. Right. So once again, they don't last as long, but think about how much stuff do you print that needs to last?
Yeah.
Right. And the answer is hardly anything.
Right.
Right. So I think this guy is on the right track. The question is, if you are going after the B2B, find that one odd thing that businesses use a lot, right? That there isn't a heavy competition for, that you might be able to go and have produced cheaper and make it easier for them to order it from you. That's all you have to do, right? And once you get in and once you can sell it, the rest is just reorders. But you don't want to get into something that's a one-time order.
Right.
Because, like, I'm thinking about, like, the stuff that I buy monthly for my business.
Paper?
Yeah, but so there's only 3 paper mills left, I think, in the world. And I actually make a ton of money selling paper. Paper's a great business to be in if you can get the clientele. But it's competitive. So it's hard to get into businesses. Right? So one thing...
Batteries?
So I'm actually thinking, like, if you can solve lighting problems, right? That's another one. Like, I didn't realize that. So you have the fluorescent, right?
Right.
So I didn't know that you can't just take an LED bulb and stick in there.
I didn't know either.
You have to actually make modifications to
it
the
makes
fixture,
sense because it's probably too much power. Yeah.
Right. So if you can come up with something, idea.
It's built into the bulb already.
Correct. That is like a power reducer or whatever. So you can just stick it in and you could replace all the lights.
Right.
My mind was blown when we converted my old office. Now, it was 6,000 square feet. And my warehouse guy, out of all people, one day went, "Can I see if I can convert this to an LED light?" I'm like, "What's my cost on it going to be?" He's like, "I don't know, $6 for the bulb." I'm like,
"Yeah,
go for it," right? So he converted it. And he came to me, he's like, "Can I try to convert the warehouse?" And I was like, "Sure." So he converted the entire warehouse. The lighting was better.
Oh,
right?
Sure.
It was just way better lighting.
Cheaper.
And then one day he comes to me and goes, "So I want to replace all the bulbs in the office." And I'm like, "What's that going to cost me?" And he's like, "For all the bulbs, I'm already here, so you're not paying me myself. Like, you're already paying me, so it's just my time to do it." He's like, "It's going to be like $800 to replace it." And I'm like, "Why would I spend $800 on replacing lights?" And he's like, "Well, I did the math for you. If the LED light bulb lasts 4 years or 5 years, I forget whatever number."
Yep.
He's
and
like,
draws a lot less power.
So the thing that blew my mind is he went through and counted how many light bulbs we had. And he said, "You realize the light bulbs in here is like running 2 microwaves constantly during the entire time we're in the office."
Yeah.
He's like, "By switching to the LED bulbs, we're running half of a microwave. So you're saving a microwave and a half running. And I was like, I did the math and I ended up saving something like, I don't know, $2,800 the first year of doing it. But
I did that at home. We changed all of our CFC bulbs, CFL.
Yeah, to LEDs.
To LEDs. And our just dropped. I mean, it just dropped the next month. I couldn't believe it.
Right. So if you're doing B2B, now the problem is that's not really a subscription business, or it's a poor subscription business
because the bulbs last so long.
Correct. It's like the old, like, I'll give you the printer.
Right.
Because
we're making money off the ink, of course.
Correct. And that's how a lot of these B2B businesses become successful. CDW, same thing, right?
Yep.
Like they practically give you hardware because they want to make money on supporting the software side.
Right.
So yeah, it's 20 to 30K. It's not a huge investment in the B2B space, but absolutely.
Depending on what it is, it could be. That 20K could turn you 50, which turns you 100.
Oh, yeah. I always get back to the story about the guy that did the stupid, right?
ShamWow? That guy?
ShamWow? Well, that one
ShamWow?
Yeah, I remember ShamWow.
What was his name?
I forget what his name is.
That guy was crazy. Everyone loved him.
But it's like, what's that other product that's like stops water everywhere? Where he slaps it on the boat. Or the bucket.
That was, they had the spray too.
Yeah, it's still running, right? I forget what the name of it is.
I actually had the spray. That stuff's great.
I do too. I have the tape.
That spray was
fantastic.
fantastic.
But once again, it's one of those like random products where you're like, how? Like, why would you think that there's a market for spray that stops water? And there's a huge market for it, apparently. I'm not saying it's but if you can find something like that that's in the B2B space where you're like, oh yeah, I should probably have one of those in my office.
Right.
Yeah, you could be set. The hard part. So to find, how did you decide on the products for your business? My advice would be take part of your 20K.
Flex Seal.
That's what it is.
Flex Seal.
Take part of your 20K and start going to trade shows.
Right.
Especially new product type trade shows. Because the product may already be there, but they may not have the distribution network in place. And that's why a lot of these like Uline and Alvin, and if you're in business, you know what all these companies are.
Oh, yeah.
But that's where they go and find new products. If they aren't being pitched them, they go and find, because they don't want someone else to come in.
Right.
Right. So yeah, that's where I would start with my research, is literally looking at, because I remember going to trade shows and I'm like, wait, that's a product? Like that exists?
Right.
Right. And yeah, they're like, yeah, we're a manufacturer. We're not looking to distribute or repair or maintain. No, service contracts. If you can get something into a business that requires a service contract, that's where a lot of these people are now making their money off their B2B site.
Oh yeah, our buddy, friend Clint that does that.
Yeah.
So he makes
printers.
That's all he does.
Yes.
Wow, who would have thought that business would be so lucrative?
Yeah.
It's huge.
It's massive.
Huge. So
I actually looked at that a few years ago.
Did you?
Well, because I was part of an association, and we actually got those types of rights for, it was either Brother or one of those, where we literally would get the machines from Brother. We would go out and resell the service contract, right? But Brother was the one performing all the service calls, the maintenance, shipping the supplies. Right. I basically had to sell it to the customer and make a margin. And I could say I want my margin to be 50%, 75%.
Right.
I bought wholesale service contracts and retailed them to businesses. I was like, that's, once again, an ingenious model.
It is.
Now I have to do none of the maintenance. I don't have to worry about the repair techs. And Brother gets what they wanted, and they still get it at the margins.
Right.
That it would cost them to wholesale it to me anyway.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. There's so many businesses out there that can be done.
Oh, yeah.
It's just, I don't think people look enough. I don't think they dig deep enough.
Well, I'm sure they look, but then they're scared, right? People like, this is my shot. This is my one chance. No, it's not. This is going to be your first of many.
Oh, no.
Be prepared to fail quite a few times. I've
burned through 3 of them before I found one that worked.
Right.
It was not a big deal. Well, the first one was kind of
Sure
a big
it was.
deal.
It was a big deal.
Took a while to
You have a wife, kids, house,
Correct.
all that stuff, you know?
But I was younger when I did it, right? But like I burned a lot of bridges and stuff because that business went horribly wrong. But I learned a ton from that business not working, right? I probably learned more from the business not working than I did from the business that is working, if that makes sense.
Yeah. You do.
Yeah.
You learn from your failures. You learn from your failures quite a bit. Better than any class you'll ever take.
Yeah. That's why the second wife's often better than the first one. I'm joking before someone goes in the comments, yells at me.
One and done for me. I love my wife. She's great. All right. That's about it, man. We'll connect next week. I'll be back. Tuesday night. So
no AI next week.
No. Well,
no
I don't know.
Nah,
We'll see what happens.
Could be. Yeah.
AI could be listening to us right now and it's like, oh, I'm going to flood you with AI comments. That's all you're going to be talking about for the rest of the podcast.
Algorithm learning that we're reading.
Yeah. All right, man. Have a great week, and we'll talk next time.